It's 6 p.m. on a Sunday. You've spent the last 48 hours in what the internet calls bed rot. The curtains are drawn, the phone charger is stretched to its limit, and you're surrounded by the soft glow of a screen and perhaps a few too many empty snack wrappers. Initially, you chose this. On Friday night, you were exhausted. Your social battery was in the negatives. You told yourself, I just need to disappear for a weekend to find myself again. I need to isolate myself so I can recover. But now, as the sun goes down, that recovery doesn't feel like peace. It feels like a heavy, hollow fog. Instead of feeling recharged, you feel more disconnected, more anxious, and strangely lost. You set out to find yourself in the silence, but you ended up losing the thread of who you are entirely. Why does the very thing we do to heal, withdrawing from the world, sometimes make us feel like we're disintegrating? Today, we're exploring the rotting paradox. We're going to look at the fine line between restorative solitude and depressive isolation. I'm going to show you the biological reason why your recovery cave turned into a mental prison and how to actually get your spark back without burning yourself out. There's a common misconception that doing nothing is always restorative. We treat our energy like a phone battery. Plug it in, stay still, and the percentage goes up. But humans aren't smartphones. We are complex biological systems that require rhythm and input. In psychology, we make a distinction between active rest and passive avoidance. Rest is an intentional choice to nourish your system. Avoidance is a defensive retreat from perceived threats. When we rot, we are often practicing avoidance under the guise of rest. The paradox is this: you isolate because the world feels like too much, but by removing all external feedback, conversations, sunlight, movement, you force your brain to turn inward. And for many of us, the inner world is a neighborhood we shouldn't walk through alone when we're tired. The science of the lost feeling. Why does staying in bed for 2 days make us feel like we've forgotten how to be human? It comes down to two major neurological players. One is the default mode network, DMN. When you aren't focused on a specific task, like when you're staring at the ceiling or mindlessly scrolling, your brain switches to the default mode network. This is the part of the brain responsible for self-referential thought. It's where you think about your past, your future, your mistakes, and your identity. In a healthy state, the DMN helps us process our lives, but in prolonged isolation, the DMN goes into overdrive. Without external anchors, like talking to a friend or walking in nature, the DMN becomes a loop of rumination. You start overanalyzing your life choices, your personality flaws, and your lostness. You aren't finding yourself, you're just getting caught in your own mental cobwebs. The second one is sensory deprivation and the proprioceptive shift. Our sense of self is actually built on our body's interaction with the environment. This is called proprioception and interoception. When you spend days in a dark room with minimal physical movement, your brain receives fewer signals from the outside world. This sensory dampening can lead to a mild form of dissociation. You feel floaty or unreal because your brain lacks the physical data it needs to ground your identity. You literally feel lost because your brain has lost its map of the world. Number 3 is the low dopamine baseline. Bed rotting usually involves high dopamine, low-effort activities, scrolling TikTok, binging shows, or snacking. This creates a spike and crash cycle. Eventually, your dopamine receptors downregulate. This means things that usually make you feel like your hobbies or your passions, no longer spark joy. You feel lost because your joy compass is temporarily broken. Practical strategies for the integration method. If you found yourself at the bottom of the rotting pit, the goal isn't to suddenly become a high-achieving productivity machine. That will just lead to a bounce-back crash. We need to use micro-inputs to signal to your brain that the world is safe again. Number 1 is the 10-minute anchor. Instead of coming out of isolation all at once, choose one physical anchor. The action is to step outside for exactly 10 minutes. Do not bring your phone. The goal is to focus on external sensation. What does the air feel like on your skin? What is the loudest sound you can hear? This forces the DMN to switch off and the task positive network to switch on, pulling you out of the rumination loop. Number 2 is to transition from passive solitude to active solitude. Solitude is a superpower. Isolation is a trap. The shift is to move from the bed to a chair, move from a scroll to a journal. Why? Moving from a horizontal to a vertical position changes your blood flow and neurological alertness. Moving from consuming content to creating a thought, even just writing "I feel tired," gives you a sense of agency. Agency is the antidote to feeling lost. Number 3 is the non-negotiable social microdose. Isolation makes us think we need a 3-hour dinner party to recover our social standing. That's too much. Send one text to one person, not a deep text, just a "saw this and thought of you" or a "hope your Tuesday is going okay." This provides a mirror signal. When they reply, your brain receives data that you exist, you are perceived, and you are connected. This anchors your identity back into the social fabric. When it's not just rotting, I want to be very careful here. There's a difference between the rotting paradox and clinical conditions. Depression, if you're rotting, is accompanied by a persistent inability to feel pleasure, anhedonia, changes in appetite, or thoughts of self-harm. This isn't just a bad habit, it's a medical condition that requires professional support. Neurodivergent burnout, for those with ADHD or autism, rotting is often a response to sensory overload. For you, isolation might be a biological necessity to prevent a meltdown. The key for you is to make your isolation low stimulus, like dim lights, no screens, rather than high stimulus, like scrolling, which actually keeps the brain stressed. High sensitivity, or HSP, you may simply need more downtime than others. The goal isn't to stop isolating, it's to stop shaming yourself for it, as shame is what turns rest into a depressive rot. If you're watching this from under a blanket, feeling like you've wasted your life because you haven't done anything for 3 days, I want you to listen closely. You are not a waste. Your brain is trying to protect you. It felt a threat. Maybe it was work, maybe it was a relationship, maybe it was just the sheer noise of the modern world, and it pulled the emergency brake. The lost feeling you have right now is just your brain's way of saying, "I've been in the dark too long, I've lost my bearings." You don't need to find your whole life today. You just need to find the floor. You just need to find the sunlight. You just need to find your breath. The rotting paradox is a cycle of trying to save yourself and accidentally hiding from yourself. But the exit door is always there, and it's smaller than you think. Let's summarize the plan. Acknowledge the shift, notice when rest becomes rumination, use an anchor, get 10 minutes of sun or physical sensation, social microdose, send one low-pressure text to break the seal. I want to hear from you in the comments. What is your first step when you realize you've been isolating too long? Is it taking a shower? Opening a window? Let's share our anchors so we can help each other out of the fog. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button. It helps this video reach other rotters who might need this perspective today. You're still in there. You aren't lost. You're just waiting to be noticed by yourself. I'll see you in the next one.